Hey everybody, Captain Silvertooth here from Infographic News for Kids. Today is Thursday, May 9th of 2019. Happy Thursday, everybody. How are you guys today? I hope you guys are fantastic. I'm doing alright. I'm back! Yay! Our mission is to inform the youth of all nations of the world being created for them to inherit. Our constitutional quote for today is, "Right and wrong is not limited to only which is stated in the United States Constitution." In my last video from a very long time ago, the constitutional question was, does the Constitution allow the president to make a law? The president can issue rules, regulations, and instructions called executive orders, which have binding forces of law upon federal agencies, but do not require approval of the United States Congress. So yes, he can't, because I consider rules and regulations to be laws, but if you guys don't, then I guess he can't, but in my opinion he can, because rules and regulations are laws. So now we're going to jump into the news. Singapore fake news law, a disaster for freedom of speech, says rights group. I found this article on the Gaurdian. The bill passes that forces media to correct or remove content the government considers to be false. So even if it's true, if the government says it is false, you must take it down. More government censorship. Yay! Singapore's parliament has passed legislation against fake news that has been criticized over fears that it could be used to clamp down on freedom of speech, which it is being clamped down on. Freedom of speech is being clamped down on by this. The law passed on Wednesday, and it requires media platforms to carry corrections or removement, and the penalties for perpetrators include prison terms up to 10 years and fines up to $735,000. That's a lot of money, all because you said something that may be true and the government says it's false. Even if you say anything that may be true and the government says it's false, you can get in trouble for. Wow. And the law minister, K. Shen Yugam, says that free speech should not be affected here. Well, it kind of already has been, or already is going to be. So, yeah, freedom of speech isn't going to be, but it already is being. So, that's wrong. It's some more censorship when we have enough censorship. And so, fun. Not really, because you shouldn't censor people. You should allow them to say how they feel, whether you like it or not, whether it's true or false. It shouldn't matter, but you shouldn't lie either. But you shouldn't be banned because of something you said either, or imprisoned, or made to pay a large fine. That's my opinion. What is yours? I found this next article on Infowars, and it is headlined, Islamist bus driver refuses to pick up woman because of short skirt. I found this article on Infowars. A bus driver in Paris, described as an Islamist, refused to pick up the daughter of a famous Algerian poet because her skirt was too short. In a Facebook post, the poet revealed how his 29-year-old daughter, Elise, and her friend attempted to board the bus at 11 p.m. Little late to be trying to board a bus, don't you think? When the bus arrived, the driver stopped, looked at them, and left without opening the doors, he wrote. The girls ran after the bus and managed to catch up to it at a red light. When they asked the driver why they weren't allowed to board, he responded, "Think about dressing as you should." This individual who drives a bus and is paid by my taxes prevented my daughter from boarding a bus, which she has a Navigo pass, which is a pass for public transport in Paris. So she has this pass, meaning she can transport publicly wherever she needs to go, and it'd be okay. She was prevented from boarding a bus only because she was dressed in a skirt. An investigation was opened, and the driver was supposed to apologize but failed to, either because he felt like he had done nothing wrong or something. But I think this is ridiculous just because she was wearing a skirt. Whether it be super short or just short in general, it's a dress, or it's a skirt, my bad. It's just a skirt and it shouldn't matter. But if it was too short, she really should think about how she was dressing. This next article I also found on Infowars is headlined, "Converse launches LGBT shoe line featuring Preteen drag kid." Converse has announced the release of a new shoe line celebrating LGBT culture alongside a marketing campaign featuring characteristics of various sexual orientations, including an 11-year-old drag kid who goes by the name Desmond is amazing. 11 is a little young to be going drag, don't you think? I mean, that's my personal opinion, but some people agree and some people disagree. So, I disagree with this new thing that Converse has done. I have Converse on my feet right now, but that does not mean I agree with Converse's new shoe line or anything. Desmond is highlighted on the Converse website wearing a very flamboyant outfit and makeup, and he is striking a dramatic pose alongside quoted as stating, "There is no normal." There is normal, but honey, you're not it. You're confused. You're still normal, but in a different way than everyone else because you're confused. Desmond apparently has autism, and this performance of being a drag kid he does helps him cope with his disability, according to his parents. I think this kid needs to find a new way to cope. And he began to gain attention when he was on Good Morning America doing the same thing. 11 is a little young to be drag, in my opinion. Anything under the age of 18 is too young for any of this. But at this day and age, why does age matter? We're going to move on to this next article. It is headlined, "One student dead, 8 injured in Highlands Ranch school shooting in Colorado. Officials say the Denver Channel, this is found on the Denver Channel. 18-year-old male was killed, 8 others were injured, and 2 suspects were in custody in the shooting at the STEM school. Some victims' names have not been released yet. Douglas County Sheriff Tony Spurlock said the suspects, who are a juvenile and adult, were believed to be students at the school. On Wednesday morning, Spurlock and other authorities released more details that said at least one of the suspects would appear in court. Late Tuesday evening, police identified the 18-year-old alleged student shooter to be Devin Erickson. Multiple sources say that the second suspect, who is a minor, is a female transitioning to male. So, more of this transgenderism stuff. Authorities found 3 handguns and a rifle, but the rifle was not fired. The sources say that the motive of the alleged shooters went beyond bullying, and it involved revenge and anger towards others at the school, and at least one of the suspects was involved in legal and illegal drug taking. Kendrick Castello, who is 18, was the student that was killed during Tuesday's shooting, and 2 of the victims were rushed to the hospital with serious conditions. School will be closed for the rest of the week. I am not for gun control, but I am also not for gun violence. And if getting rid of the guns means no more gun violence, then that's what you have to do. But then again, how are we going to protect ourselves when we need it? I am totally pro-gun and all of that, but I don't know what else we can do to stop gun violence, well, other than restrict certain people, which would be a better idea than taking them away. So, yeah, but this is on a completely related note because it's the same students and everything else here that I have. Students walked out of the school shooting vigil saying their trauma was being politicized. I found this article on USAtoday. Survivors of the Colorado school STEM shooting stormed out of their interfaith vigil saying their trauma was politicized. Gun right advocates posted support on social media on Thursday for students who walked out of the gun control rally in anger and tears over concerns that the event was inappropriately politicized and that their grief did not matter. The event Wednesday was primarily billed to honor Kendrick Castello, who was fatally shot.
And it's full.
The gym was packed with speakers such as politicians and advocates pressing for Congress of restrictive gun laws. After about 30 minutes, hundreds of students from the STEM school stormed out of the rally yelling, "This is not for us. This is a political stunt, and we are people, not a statement." So they feel like their grief didn't matter and that the way they felt didn't matter, that they were just trying to have a political statement and stunt be done because of something that happened to them. Candace Craig, who has 3 children attending the school, says it was too early to push for action, and the trauma is still fresh in thousands of parents and their kids who suffered through the shooting and anxious hours after that. Wednesday night, the traumatized survivors who exited the rally, put their cell phones in the air with their flashlights on and chanted mental health as their hands and voices shook as they stood in the cold rain. I've never had to deal with a shooting in my school, but it worries me, and I do think about it a lot, and I would want how I felt to matter. I would not want somebody to be like, well, that doesn't matter, whatever. It's just, we need gun control, right? We just need gun control. We don't need gun control. We just need the right people to have guns, and we need people to be smart with guns is what we need. We don't need people to be banned from having a gun because that's against the Constitution. And the Constitution does say that we have the right to bear arms. but we need to be smart in the way we handle our gun business. We shouldn't be shooting up schools. And, back to what it said something about bullying, and that could be a primary reason why the school got shot up, because of bullying done at that school. Bullying happens to everybody, whether you know about it or not. It happens. I get bullied, but I don't go shooting up schools about it. I just handle it a different way. Whether it's crying or writing it down in a notebook, I just do something else about it. But I'm not gonna go shooting up a school over it. It's just not gonna happen. Like, everybody gets bullied, but that doesn't mean that you should go shooting up a school about it. And why does a 15-year-old have a gun? Why does an 18-year-old have a gun? Why are they able to carry these guns and do dangerous things with them? Where are their parents at? Leads me to all of these questions. But we are going to jump into the constitutional quote in the Bible verse and the joke from Hambone the Hilarious. So let's get to that. The constitutional question is, what are the 4 types of constitution? And the Bible verse for today is, hatred stirs up strife, but love covers all offenses. And that is Proverbs 10:12. So hatred stirs up strife, but love covers all offenses. That is true, because, hatred just makes people mad and angry, while love will make everybody happy, and it covers everything else. As long as you are loved, you feel loved, but if you aren't loved, then you have hatred towards everyone else, and that's not right, and you should be loved. And so I'm going to read it one more time, because hatred stirs up strife, but love covers all offenses. In the book of Proverbs chapter 10, verse 12. And now to get Hambone the Hilarious for his joke. Well, I'm going to say Hambone's joke because I thought he was available, but he is not. He is busy elsewhere. So I'm going to say the joke. And his joke was, what did the candle say to the other? Will you go out with me tonight?